Hi guys, and welcome to a review for Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Ngan. I'm guessing is how you say that. I did not like this, so I DNF'd it. I made it to page 172, and I just could not take it anymore. So let me read the synopsis, and then I'll go into why from that synopsis that I did not like it. So it says, each year 8 beautiful girls are chosen as paper girls to serve the king. It's the highest honor they could hope for, and the most demeaning this year. There's a 9th. Let's see. Oh, this year there's a 9th, and instead of paper, she's made of fire. There's no reference to that. Lay is of the paper caste, the lowest class in Ikara. Even so, rumors of her golden eyes have piqued the king's interest. And so she is ripped from her home and taken to the opulent palace, a gilded prison, her life now beholden to the demon king's every whim. But as Lee dreams of escape, she does the unthinkable. She falls in love. Her forbidden romance, enmeshed with an explosive plot that threatens the king's very reign, will force Lay to decide just how far she's willing to go to fight for her freedom. Lush, poetic, and utterly unforgettable. It's an extraordinary tale reminding us that pure love and passion can transcend even the bleakest of fates. Okay, here's the thing. That synopsis sounds pretty good, but the book is crap, in my opinion. Now, the reason I say that is this is full of things I do not like in books, okay? I hate when characters are snobs. They look down on other people. It's a caste system. I can understand that to a point, but you have this group of girls, 9 girls, but it does go down to 8, but she still has the nickname of 9, which is Lay. And there are some girls in this group who are taking the same classes that are just snobs. They're, you know, everyone else is garbage, everyone else is beneath them, but yet they're the same caste. So you have snobs within the same caste. Okay, fine, I know that goes on. I just don't like to read about that. I don't like reading books that have snobs. But those 2 characters are very minuscule. The other thing is I hate when it's just complaint after complaint after complaint, but nothing being done to resolve the issue. That's the first 172 pages. I don't know if it eventually gets resolved. At this point, I do not care. Lay complains a lot. Her mother was taken when she was 7 or 10 years ago. That is an inconsistency in this, because it's like she was taken 10 years ago when she was 7, but then it's constantly being said it was 7 years ago. So there's an inconsistency, which I actually didn't pick up on. I looked at a Goodreads review that mentioned that. I was like, okay, now that you've brought it to my attention, I do see that and recognize the inconsistency. Fine, mistakes happen. But all the character does is complain. She's fearful for her dad and this lady that's kind of stepped in to be a mother figure to her back in her home, because she's now living at an area in the palace, because she was taken from her home. And she's complaining about it in her mind. It's all inner dialogue. She complains about it. She's fearful of them, but nothing's being done. She's not trying to, at least this far in the book, there's no attempt to escape. She just goes along with everything. Yeah, it portrays how uncomfortable she is without going into this bath yard area where she goes and just people are naked and they're taking baths. There's a lot of nakedness in this book, you know, and I understand, you know, and it talks about in the synopsis, to the demon king's every whim, and it was the rumor of her golden eyes that piqued the king's interest. That's crap. Okay, from the start, she is taken by a general who wants to submit her as a gift for the king. And then finally he hears about it at a dinner, and he's like, I want to see this. There's rumors about this. I want to see your golden eyes. That's when he hears about it. It's shortly before that dinner. So the fact that it's like he wanted her, at least so far in the book, that's a complete crap and lie, according to the synopsis, is what I'm going to say. It's just not true. What else does it say? Yeah, okay, so they're the lowest class. And now there is LGBT rep. You do see things like a male lion dating a male lion, like going to this as a date. They go as a couple. There's this area where people go to have sex with other people of the palace. Men with men, women with women, men and women, whatever. So she gets to this point, she gets summoned to have an evening with the king. All leading up to that point where she gets summoned, it's all about training. But I could not tell you what the training was. If it was etiquette, was it about the history of the palace? Was it about food? Who knows? You know what? Couldn't tell you. All I know is she had classes and training, but it doesn't go into depth in that. The other things, it's like she never once tried to escape. Now, she may in the latter half of the book, but at this point, I just don't care. I'm so fed up with it. But basically, what the synopsis should have read, in my opinion, is this book is a YA book, and it's all about sex. It's about kidnapping girls or something being arranged, but girls ending up in this central palace. They are learning how to please the king. What to say, what to do, what to not say, what to not do. That's basically what I think the training is about. And then when they're chosen to spend a night with the king, they are taught how to seduce the king. It's all about sex. It's all about leading up to having a sex fling with the king. And it even says in one part, he has bedded many a women. But there's always something different about each and every one, something to learn. And it's what I don't like. I don't like men or women or men, anyone being treated like an object. That is very much a theme in this book. Women are objects. Especially if they're of the paper cast. They're nothing but a thing, a little plaything, a sexual plaything, and then they're just kind of tossed aside. And that's it. That's all this is. It's about getting ready to have a sexual night with the king, and then out of all these girls, he's going to choose who his favorite sexual partner is, and then that person is going to be there to have sex with him whenever he wants it. That's all this book is. There is not really any plot, because that's the plot. It is just to have sex with the king. And that's not the vibe that this book gave off with the synopsis. And that's all it is, and I'm sick of hearing about it. It's even like this one part where she's getting ready to have sex with the king. She's with the king, and his hardest part is pressed against her thigh. And it's like, okay, it's not graphic sexually. I will give it that. But it's a YA, so I understand why it's not graphic sexually. I think if this was an adult, this would be extremely graphic in the sex department with how they're doing things and everything like that. So if you want to read a book all about leading up to sex, then you may like this. I did not like it. I think the synopsis read well, but the inside was just, in my opinion, crap. I did not like it. I am not giving it a star rating. It's a DNF, and I will not pick it up again. I will not read the series, and it honestly makes me a little leery to pick up anything from this author if anything's going to be written like this. The only diverse aspect that I got from this, if you want to read a book with diversity, you may want to look elsewhere, because the only diverse thing is just sexuality. If you're gay, lesbian, or not, or attracted to the opposite gender, that's pretty much the only diversity in this. Yes, I prefer books that have more diversity in it. That's just my preference. I grew up in an area that was very diverse. We had people that were Native American, we had people that were Black, we had people that were Asian, all in this little community that I grew up in. and it was wonderful. It was the best area I have ever lived in. I get the diversity. I like having diversity in the book. But everyone, and that's the other thing, everyone is flat. I don't think the character development was very good. Everyone was all flat. And it was kind of like when she would describe one character, I had to remind myself which character she was talking about. Because there's two other characters that, I mean, you get to know some of the names of the other characters, but the three characters she refers to the most are Blue, Aoki, and Ren. It is very cookie cutter. I could tell you that Aoki is 16, Ren is more silent, and Blue is a snob. Other than that, those are the only things that differentiate any of the characters. Not worth the read, in my opinion. This book was just definitely not for me. If you liked it, great. I'm glad you liked it. There are just so many things that bother me in this, from the Blue being a snob to all the complaining and nothing being done to try to figure out how to resolve something, to the only plot being getting ready to have sex with the king. That's it. And there's not enough diversity between the characters. And again, like I said, it's just very cookie cutter. They're all the same. I know 3 of the names off by, I could tell you the 3 names, 4 including the main character. And like one thing that differentiates all of them, like I said, Blue's the snob, Aoki is 16, and Ren is the silent, brooding type who actually Lee is attracted to. That's it. I can't tell you a single thing more about any of these characters. The book, I will say, it does look pretty. It does draw me in as far as the appearance of the book. But there was a lot of hype around this book and how people were talking about it. It's made it sound good. I don't remember what people were saying, so I went just off of the synopsis going into it, thinking, okay, she's gonna go, and I thought she was gonna be like turn into this like assassin type of a thing, and she was gonna be attracted to another woman. Okay, I got the attracted to another woman right. Whether or not she's gonna turn into try to assassinate the king, I don't know. I'm not gonna stick around to find out. There's obviously a market for this book. I think one thing that bugs me about this is it kind of gives the vibe that, 1, sex is the most important thing, but 2, when writing the characters, and it was just like check boxes were being done. There's just no development. It's just like, oh, well, I just better include this because that's the fad right now. Or that's where the world is going right now. I just include a type of character that fits this particular mold. Box is checked. Don't need to do anything else with it because now at least it's in the book. It's at least mentioned. That's it. I'm trying to think. Oh, the other thing I didn't like is in the synopsis, and this was very contradictory to the synopsis, it talks about how being called to be the paper girl for the king is the highest honor. Well, no, that's crap. That it doesn't, it's kind of like these 2 teachers that are telling the girls this is the highest honor you could ever hope for. It's the best thing. That's what the girls are led to expect. However, people that are within the court, they look at these girls and they keep calling them whores. Oh, but the king's fine. He can bed as many women as he wants. And there's no repercussions because he's a king. But these girls who are taken from their home, forced to learn pretty much who knows what, but basically to learn how to have sex with the king, they're whores. And he's the only one they've had sex with, but yet they're the whore. I also did not like that, and that really bothers me as well. So for me, this book is crap. I'm not going to I am going to unhaul this right away. In fact, I'm going to unhaul it today as of filming this. That's why I wanted to film this right now, to get this out of the way so I can get this book out of my house. I did not like it, and I don't want it taking up shelf space. This book I did get from Owl Crate a while ago, so it is a signed copy, but I will go ahead and just donate this somewhere so that someone who does like this type of book, then they can enjoy it. Great. It will find a home that will appreciate it, because I certainly don't. Although the one thing I will say is this is beautiful. The embossing right there. And that does have an importance, and that is mentioned at the start of the book, but 172 pages in and there's no more reference to it. It's supposed to be like a blessing that the girls are given at birth, and it opens, it's a pendant, and then it opens on their 18th birthday, which with the main character being 17, it hasn't opened yet, and I don't know if it will ever open. Again, at this point, I don't care. I'm done. I'm done with this book. I know I've ranted about this, but again, please know, if you liked it, I am glad you liked it. This is just full of things I don't like to read in any book. I could not find anything really positive. Well, I take that back. No. Some of the conversations the main character had with some of the other characters were good. The fact that she stands up for Aoki at some point, that was good. That's it. That's the only thing. And it was very brief and very fleeting. So this is just full of things and books I hate. So this is like the worst book for me I will ever read because of everything in it so far. I just couldn't take it anymore. I tried to get through it. I wanted to see the appeal. I did lose interest in this before I even picked it up, but I thought, you know what, I have it. Let's go ahead and read it, because I'm sure I'll be fine with it. And it was worse than I thought it was going to be. But again, that's a me thing. If you like it, great. I just don't like how flat the plot was, how bland all the characters were, very cookie cutter. I don't like the snobs in books. I don't like all the complaining with nothing being done. And it was just leading up to have sex with the king. All about having sex with the king. At this point, I am just fed up with it. I'm done. It's leaving my house. So if you like it, great. I'm glad you like it. But again, I hated it. So yeah, that doesn't, you know, I don't know. It's just, everyone's going to have a book that someone loves, but yet you come across that book and you absolutely hate it. That's this case for me. So didn't like it, unhauling it. Don't know how many more times I'm going to say that, but I'll go ahead and end this now, because I'm just going to be saying the same things over and over. So let me know if you've read this. Did you like it? Again, if so, great. If not, hey, definitely let me know. We can commiserate. So that's going to be it. Until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.